Welcome to Bright Mind Academy. Bright Mind Academy is an initiative with the main purpose of guiding students towards academic excellence. It is headed by Owobo Odinakachukwu Solomon, the senior project coordinator and a team of talented individuals. Here at Bright Minds, we don't just raise A+ students, we train future leaders. Our key objectives are self-discovery education, entrepreneurship, and innovation.
Obinna Ogbonnaya is a first-class civil engineering graduate from the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, with hands-on experience in subsea engineering, project management, and business strategy. He has worked with leading organizations such as Chevron Nigeria Limited and Landmark Africa, and is passionate about helping young people discover purpose, develop skills, and align their academics with real-world impact.
I got to work in Chevron, an oil company, and currently I'm here at Landmark Africa, just a few weeks after I had finished my projects in school. So I learned, and here, so far now, I've learned how to, manage people, strategic thinking, and stakeholder management. So these experiences have taught me, and it should teach you too, that your skills should align with three things: what you enjoy, what you are naturally good at, and what the world needs. I'll say it again. The skills that you should think of selecting, the skills that you should try to develop, should align with three things: what you enjoy, that's what you're passionate about; what you are naturally good at, just like how I was naturally just good with maths, and willing to solve problems; and then what the world needs, basically. The world needs solutions to these problems, definitely. So my third point is learning skills that complement your course of study, and not just those that you learn inside the class. So one of the greatest mistakes undergraduates make is restricting themselves to departmental skills. Because you are doing pharmacy, you think you just maybe need to learn skills that are related to pharmacy. And because you are doing law, you just want to learn how to talk and argue. There is more to that. So in my case, while I was studying civil engineering, I definitely learned how to, I learned problem solving, technical thinking, and logic and all. But the skills that changed my life were the ones that I learned outside the classroom. The ones I learned from those volunteering experiences, those leadership positions that I took. Skills like the project management, the, getting to practice the data analysis and Excel stuff, the leadership and public speaking, financial analysis, and many other skills that I could also learn online. And I got these skills from, basically the experiences I've gotten while I was working at Chevron, while I was working as the assistant secretary to the Nigerian Society of Engineers in school, while I, did the logistics manager at ISEC, Food Heroes, a lot of all those experiences that I took my time out to do. Even speaking in webinars like this, these have all built my skills that I need in the outside world and not just in the class. So in today's world, 75% of leading employers prioritize skills over degrees. So you really should be looking out for skills that are outside your course of study, because your skills teach you what to do and how to stand out. Now, the fourth area of focus, the 3P framework for choosing the right skills. I already mentioned it. The first P is your passion. So you need to ask yourself, what topics do you find yourself researching at night? What do people naturally see? Or what do people naturally come to you for? Right? What activities make time fly for you? You need to find that passion that sustains you when things get tough. The second P is proficiency. So what are you, naturally good at? Or what are you willing to learn? What would you find joy in learning? You don't have to be perfect. You just need to be willing. You need to have that drive. When I began learning data analysis, I struggled. When I started public speaking, I wasn't confident. When I first coordinated large teams, it wasn't smooth. Whether it's class projects, with my department or the other teams I had to lead, it wasn't as smooth as as perfectly. But the skill is a muscle, so you need to be consistent to build it. The third the third P is profitability. So what is in demand? What do people need? Is this skill really going to be beneficial? Is it going to be profitable? Are people really going to, is there going to be much impact from it? So according to LinkedIn workforce report, the top in demand skills in Nigeria are like digital literacy. You can't leave school and you don't know how to use a computer, honestly, unless you physically just want to do an entrepreneurial business. But even if you still need to kind of have good insights into digital literacy, being able to analyze data, predict numbers, project management, communication, sales and business development, even software and technical skills. These are the skills that are in demand according to research of today. So even as an engineer, learning these skills open doors that I never expected. I graduated from civil engineering, but I'm not really working on site at the moment. But definitely I still have a whole lot of time to get more experience. So time never really finishes, but you also have to be able to use it well and in order. The fifth point is building skills through the 4S method. So first S is start small. You can start taking free courses online, whether through Coursera, Udemy, YouTube, or other platforms. Then you should seek mentorship, right? Every major turning point in my life was triggered by a mentor. So your mentor can be your lecturer, your senior colleague, your supervisor, or your maybe your classmates themselves, or your senior. I already mentioned senior colleagues. So these mentors, shorten your learning curve by 70%. They are able to share their experience with you, and that's why joining webinars like these will also help you to understand how to find the paths to follow. The third S is serve. You really have to put yourself out there. You have to volunteer, to teach others, to join organizations, and take responsibilities. Service is the fastest way to build real world experience. The last S is show your work. Your skills don't matter if nobody can see them. So that's why you have to post your project, post your internships, post your experiences, post that certificate from the course you just finished. All the essays you might write, and all those ways you need to post it out there. You need to build your brand so that when people see it, when that visibility is out there, it builds opportunities for you. Then last point on this my topic is about excellence. So excellence is a skill too. Whatever you decide to learn, whatever skill you decide to develop, you have to try to be excellent.
Miss Dorothy Chinelo Uche is a first-class graduate in electrical engineering from the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, where she was recognized as the best female graduating student of the class of 2024. She is a proud recipient of the MTN Science and Technology Scholarship and the Julius Berger Nigeria Female Scholarship, awards that celebrate her academic excellence and dedication. Passionate about power systems and sustainable energy, Dorothy is currently a project and business development intern at Connexa, where she applies her skills to advancing impactful solutions in the energy sector. Beyond academics, Dorothy has demonstrated outstanding leadership, having served as the vice president of the NIEE Students Wing, UNN, where she contributed to inspiring and empowering fellow engineering students.
I want you to first see the person behind them. That was one thing I had to show my face, because my journey to excellence was not smooth, and that means journey to excellence is never as it looks from the outside. So most times when you encounter things in life and every other thing, I feel most people don't really care about what they encounter in life. It's just more like the physical vision we are always seeing. So I will start with a few years ago, because I need to tell this story to try and encourage everyone, or people who are who are feeling down, who feel in a certain type of way that they cannot do it or want to give up, or who are thinking that whatever they're doing is not right. Some of us speaking to you here never had the straight line route. We actually came from somewhere. We came for a story, but we tried our best to overcome challenges. So I'm trying to encourage you people before I dive into the topic itself. So I'll start with a few years ago, I was just like many of you, trying to survive my tests, my practicals, the strikes, the emotional pressure, my personal expectations, and still figure out what I really wanted my future to look like. Some of you might know this part of my story. I did not start in electrical engineering. I moved from medicine and surgery to radiography, and later I transitioned to engineering, a department where I had zero background and I joined late. So I would not dive too much into the story, but I always was not in electrical engineering. When I resumed that period, the whole class had already covered too much, and I just had a few weeks to do. Those few weeks of my life were just few weeks of trial. Because at a point in my life, I told my parents that I needed to defer my course because I had this fear of I can't really do it. How do I want to transition from this to that after everything I've gone through from COVID-19 break and that? But I decided to not let my fears wear me out. I started to try my best to study and the rest. So in that semester, I made a perfect GPA. This made me reduce the whole exam phobia. I believed in myself. I decided to cut the depression, all the fears, and the rest. At that point, had faded away. This experience changed me, not because of the grade, but because it proved something important to me, that excellence is built from decisions, not perfection. You really don't need to be so perfect you don't need to be perfect to achieve excellence. You just need to make decisions. I would not say it's late to make decisions at this point of your life, but my own is that you just need to wake up. Don't try to procrastinate. Don't try to say, oh, I will do this later on, because time really waits for no one. Because the moment you make the decision now, and you know age is too late, everybody's life moves in a different way. So even if you have made mistakes at this point of your life, I would just say, just make the decision. Just speak to yourself. I'm like, oh, this is what I really want to do. Let me do it. Because the moment you make the decision and put in the work, I'm very sincere with you. You would be very surprised how you see progress in your life. Now, I want to share with you people the three pillars that help me excel academically, why I was still trying to build my future career. They were very simple, practical, and I believe they can help you no matter your level, your department, or your struggles. I'm certain not everyone here in engineering is a diverse courses, like diverse people from different courses. So the first pillar, which is pillar one, is build academic excellence through smart systems. A lot of you, or I think a lot of people will think some students read all the time, but really don't. What they have are effective systems. This system can mean you understand what each lecturer really wants. You know the concept that carry weight. You use past questions to understand systems. Please, can you hear me? So,
Yes, we can hear you.
okay, so I'm like, oh, I'm not breaking. It's either you put your work into manageable bits, like even how, no matter how clumsy the work is, these are components, so you can break it down in a way you can understand. You don't just wait for exam week to realize that from the beginning of the semester, you should start preparing. Like you should start putting in the work. You revise even small topics with intention that you don't really need to take that, oh, it's really big topic I should look forward to. You don't need to study 10 hours a day. You just need clarity, consistency, and strategy. I think we can note that you need to have clarity. You need to be consistent. Maybe you have clarified about a specific something. You need to be consistent, like follow that thing back to back, put in the work back to back. You need to have strategy. What's the specific strategy I can put in this that can help me yield a certain thing? For me, I will always tell people, I do not read every single day. A did not, I was just a student that started. I love doing collections. I understand early. I understand very fast. Everybody is different. I understood very fast. I just tried my best to know that, oh, this is this, but I studied. It was not really every single day. I tried my best. I know it's not really easy. But when I read, I was very focused. I studied math. I did fast questions. I asked my senior school. That's why when Obina said something about mentor, mentor is very important. People that have passed your stage, that have seen beyond that, they're the ones that can help you. Like people that have made mistakes, like just as how we are trying to make people. Some of these persons that made mistakes, they know the mistakes, they know the troubles, they know the trials that you went through, passing through that journey that we are also passing through. They are the ones that will guide you through the journey. They will advise you and tell you, oh, this is this, that is that. Because I believe you cannot do it alone. Even if you feel you want to be the most independent person, you need people. But when I mean people, not the bad companies, the good companies that can move you forward, people that can make you think beyond your circle, that can make you think outside the box. So another thing, YouTube, I watched YouTube explanations when needed, and most importantly, I understood my strengths. I did not copy anyone's reading style. I did what worked for me. Some of us make these mistakes of, oh, this is this person, this is an A student, and because of that, let me copy this person's reading style. I always advise people I mentor. I will tell them that I just need you to just do this practical trial. Try and study in the morning, very early in the morning before you go to school, and see, oh, did I really understand this one? Study in the afternoon and see, oh, did I understand it? And study in the evening. When you do these three different study methods at three different times of the day, you will know the time your brain decides to grasp very fast. And it really works. So if in the morning you were studying, you did not feel a certain type of headache, you were relaxed, you were not feeling easily distracted, compared to the afternoon and in the evening, I always advise them, give more time to your morning, like just so how you balance, maybe study very, very in the morning, in the night you sleep, just know how you balance, or if you are an afternoon person, after lectures, after break or anything, you can just balance and study. If you're a night person, make sure that before that night you sleep enough and study throughout the night. Just know how you will balance it because everybody has their different reading time. If you're a person that, oh, I really don't understand on time, you should start early to understand. You should start strategies for how to break down complex stuff so that it really helps. It really helps. So advice, don't copy anyone's reading style. Try and know your strengths. Each of us have our individual strengths, and it's those strengths that will help us. So try and know those strengths. Know where you are strong in, how you need to put in more effort in your weaknesses, and try and make sure that your strengths overtake your weaknesses. One thing that helped me also was breaking my work into simple sessions. Even if I read only for an hour, I make that hour count. So like what I'm going to say is that not even making each hour count. Make each second of your studies, make each second of your life count. That when you have to look back at this moment, you have to say, oh, how did I do this? Make sure that each moment, each second is not just about or the academic field. Make sure that each hour, each second, each minute, that's why we put it as a time, each time of your life counts. Even if you make mistakes in this minute, in this second, in this hour, try and push yourself to try and correct those mistakes. Make sure you don't repeat those mistakes when you realize it. Excellence generally does not come from pressure. It comes from the systems. So I'll advise you people today, please create your own system. Know what is expected. Know what works for you. Prepare intentionally and be consistent with those small steps. As I said, I think little drops of water makes an ocean. So you don't need to do something very massive, but when you start counting your steps little by little, you will see you have moved to the top. You will see your progress. You will see that there is progress, even if you might feel the progress is so minimal. But the more you put on effort and you do the effort consistently, you will see your progress. So the pillar one for me was build academic excellence through smart systems. So now I'll go to the pillar two, build skills early. I think I tried my best because I would just want to be practical with you. I know school can be very overwhelming, but I'll try to tell you that aside from your degree can move you to the top. But what will open that door for you are your skills. Because in the layman's term, the question is, what can you offer? Because the criteria say, oh, those with at least a 2-1 or this, everybody, there are so many graduates. But my question I always ask is, what will distinguish you from this person? If you are the employer, tell me, why should I employ you other than this person? This other person made a 2-1, it's fine. This other person studied engineering with you, it's fine. This other person studied economics, it's fine. But what is so special about you that can make me employ you? Aside from the employer point of view, if you don't have work, or if there is no job, because in Nigeria the unemployment rate is high, or if you don't have the connections to get to work, so does it mean you just sit at home and not do anything? So this way skills come in. For those of us that finished, because I think most time I'm talking to people that are still in school, I would just advise, you don't need to do 10 skills at once. Just know, oh, what do I want to see in my life? Ask yourself this question. What do I want in my life 10 years from now? I will even say 10 years is too much, 5 years from now. What is that problem I see in my community, in my surrounding, in my school, in my home, in places I've been to, that I feel it's affecting me, it's affecting others around me, and I want to solve it? What's the problem? How can I even solve the problem? It's just more like you thinking. So your skills can be used to solve these problems. And that's why we have MTN Skills Academy, because Obina mentioned you can start from free courses. They give free courses. You can just do something as very minute as this. I want to advise people that because tech is what is trending, you should just go into it like that. Try know your path, know what you really want to do. If you're a type that likes technical writing, you love writing, you can go into writing and try and perfect. Nobody is a pool of knowledge. Everybody started from somewhere. So you can start from somewhere. You can just learn a course. Just try and be doing the course small by small, because from data analysis, you can go to data science. From data science, you can go to machine learning. You can go to AI. If you are someone that, you love public speaking, you can use that skill as some. Just have something tangible that when the employers want to employ you, you'll be so different that even if they want to remove your name from the list, you are so unshakable that they know that I need this person. I know our company will move forward with this person. Aside from the employer, you can even be an employer when you have skills, you know what you want to do. You can be a master on your own. So that's why I always advise, start early. You can start small. You don't need to go overboard. You just need to just start small. And when you start small, you will see a very great difference. You will see confidence, because if it's only your degree you want to use to pitch to somebody, I'm going to be very sincere, it will not really move. Because I've been in a situation when I met somebody, I'm like, I got an education. I'm like, okay, so what do you do? What can you do? That's the questions you will be asked while you're in school, at the outside world. So skills open doors for you. Skills create the options. With your skills, you can decide to even decline whoever because you know your worth. Your skills will build your future. even before you graduate. I know some of us know some students that already have jobs they are doing because of their skills. It might even be plumbing skill. Skill must not be everything digital or technical. It can be plumbing skill, it can be shoemaking, it can be makeup, any entrepreneur, any skill, but at least have a hard work, have something you can do, something you can call your own aside from your degree. So now the pillar 3 that helped me also was connect everything to your future career. I don't know how I'm going to put it, but let me use this example. Before you decide to farm, or before you decide to have, maybe you want to have meat, you plan before it, because you know at your end product is this, like is the maize from the farm, or is whatever you are going to eat. So every single thing you are going to do now, or you have done, I always have to say now, because most times some of us get our corrections, that any single thing that you are doing now should be connected to your future career. Now, here's the real secret. Your academic and your skills must work together. If you are studying, I really don't know what that means, but if you are studying electrical engineering, you can get a skill that aligns with it. So I'll start with example. If you love energy, start exploring energy communities, tools, and opportunities. If you love tech, start small projects, join hackathons, or start short courses. If you love business or leadership, join student organizations, learn to pitch ideas or run new initiatives. Because when it comes to the actual test, if you just want to be in this space like our tech leadership, you need to have a track record of leadership to move to higher positions, if we are all agreed on that. If you want to move into the energy industry, you need to join the energy community to learn tools like it can be MATLAB, can be Simulink, can be PSSE, all those tools that can help you navigate in the energy industry. You have to find opportunities. If it's tech, you need to start some small hackathons, do small projects, have a very good portfolio. Don't wait for a perfect moment. Build your future step by step. Your career is not one big event. It's a series of small decisions that start that. So if those decisions you make that have already said in the pillar 1 that will help you move in your career, like in your future career, it's saying you need to tell yourself, I will not graduate and not only my degree will I be keeping the degree. I will not graduate from, it's not coming out from uni, coming out from polytechnic, coming out from any school I go to, and I'm confused, what is life going to place me in? I will not graduate unprepared. I'm going to be prepared for Nigeria's problem. I'm going to be prepared for what the outside world is holding at me. Our degree is important, so I will not sugarcoat that. It's very, very important. But it's not enough on our own. I said it will take you to the end. It will take you to the door. But is that your skill? So this is how shortlisting works. I can be shortlisted for it, so I can move, I can even be, I can pass the criteria. But before I'm even shortlisted for it, that's the opening of the door. What skills do I have that makes me special? Have you heard when I think they did which application? You do application, millions of people will apply, and they only need a quota of 300. So what is special about this that will make you be more than 300? So I need to be fast because I think my time is going. So your future needs knowledge, skills, and direction. Knowledge is what you have success. Skills is what you have. You can use your hands and your brains to do. And the direction, after you have all this, is what path are you going to follow? So before I close, I want to give you three simple things you can start doing immediately. Number 1, choose one skill this semester. Just one and commit to it. I think I'll tell Solomon and the co-host, that we should follow that up. Let's know each person what skill you have done at the end of the semester. So you can grow gradually, practice it, and build a little portfolio around. You need to see people from the bright mind, from this community posting about their portfolio on LinkedIn. Tell yourself, Second one is create a simple weekly academic routine. It doesn't have to be perfect just because try and create your academic routine. Let's know in this week what do you do. Number 3, join one community of groups that align with your goal. Don't now be joining bad like join like people that want to grow. People that even better than you that will push you to grow. You can't grow alone. Find people who stretch and inspire you. These steps look small, but they have the power to transform your entire life. So I want to leave you with this. You don't need to know everything today. You don't need to have your whole future figured out. You don't need to compare yourself to anyone. Just start. That was start is the key word. Start from where you are. Start with what you have, like where better than start with little resources you have. Start with one step. Just take a step from today. And that step leads you to success. Excellence is not a debate. It's a lifestyle. It should be part of you. It's the habit of choosing growth, eating and in every single time. You need to choose something. You should choose growth. Even when things are difficult, let growth be your choice. Everything it takes to excel academically. You have everything it takes to build a strong future. And the best part of everything is that step today, your journey starts for this webinar. That gives me the opportunity to speak to life and speak to people. So I'm going to just encourage everyone. Start today. Take the bold step today.
Ms. Chikamso. So, my first answer would be time management. But time management will really apply to how to maintain consistency. For you to be able to do discipline, you need to, be able to tell yourself every morning that this is what you want to do. Basically, time management really helps, in planning your day even before the day comes. You need to know how you plan to spend your day, and you have to stick by it. For you to build that discipline, you have to know what the end result is. You have to be able to look to the end and know that this is what I want to achieve today. If I don't achieve it today, that should not be extend to the next day and fix the plan of the next day, more bogus or more fit to achieve. So you need to know what the end result is. One thing I've been learning where I'm working, I'm currently even in a mentorship program with our CEO. So he tells me that when you research about people that you have as role model, you need to learn how they got to the point where they are currently. So indeed, you basically just need to understand what you are trying to achieve and tell yourself that if you don't follow these plans, these timelines that you set for yourself, you really will not meet that end result. So basically, you need to be able to plan and manage your time.
For you to switch from medicine to engineering, how did you know that engineering is your path? The person is asking that since you switched from medicine to engineering, how were you able to figure out that engineering is really your path, that this is your thing? So that's the person's question. Okay, I've gotten the question, so I'm going to answer the question. So please just give me 2 seconds. Okay, now. Okay, sorry, can you hear me? So what happened is that because the whole switching, it's a whole process, it was so long and the rest, but initially, medicine and surgery was never what I wanted to study. It was what my parents liked because this mama doctor, papa doctor. I've always wanted to study engineering. I was very good in calculations and I did not really like theory. And I felt medicine and surgery or the medical line in general were just for what's the name, were more theoretical because you need to study this so much and understand it. But when you come back to the engineering part, it's calculation. And calculation was way more easier. It interested me. So from the initial beginning, I always wanted to study engineering and electrical engineering to be precise. But due to my parents' choices, they were like, oh, I need to study medicine and surgery. That's how I went to study medicine and surgery. So the whole long process, I really don't need to start telling the story, but that was it then for medicine and surgery. The whole Nigeria issue of admission and the rest went to medical radiography. So from there, I did not, because I was like, medicine and surgery, they say I should study. And that was the only medical course I knew. I did not know what was radiography and the rest. So when I moved, and even the medicine and surgery was fact that I said, oh, you start at level 12. So I was like, oh, when you start at level 12, you'll be high. So I was just studying that because I knew if I'm to study, I will obviously pass. So I was studying it for studying. You get very study it for studying, but obviously I'm putting my work and pass. But when I was putting another course, I'm like, which course is this one? I don't know what you are. So from there, I found out you can actually change. That's why I now change electrical. So my day comes to electrical engineering was always my passion, but my parents' passion was medicine and surgery, and I went to their passion. But God to have it, God decided to align my path back to the path of electrical engineering. So thank you so much. Okay, what does she couldn't get the last P you talked about. You told us about 4 P's that we should mindful of. So the person is saying that she didn't get the last P. Please, can you please give us that again? Please, can you just a quick recap on the last P you talked about, please, Mr. Obuna?
Okay. I know I mentioned I mentioned up to 6 skills, so I will just list them out and see if that answers the question. The first was digital literacy, data analysis, project management, communication, sales and business development, and software and technical skills. So software and technical skills, it applies in different areas, whether it's the engineering software, whether it's the technology, like more tech kind of software like the AI or MATLAB that Nello mentioned, and other things. So those are skills I mentioned that are in top demand today. So please confirm if that answers the question that was asked.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Yeah, I'm hoping that answers the question. Okay, so let's. Can you remind me of the one to join for technology? Okay, Ms. Dorothy, I think there was a particular time you talked about joining groups that align with your vision. So this person is actually asking if you can, list from for that technology inclined, so he or she can join. Thank you. Sorry, I can't hear you good. Okay, someone asks that you mentioned we should join groups that are in alignment with our goals, our vision. So the person is asking if you can list from or give one that is technologically inclined, a group that is technologically inclined, that he or she can join and apply for something like that. Okay, so from what I got from the person's question, he said something about we are meant to join if we want to acquire a particular skill. Can you remind me of the one to join for technology? Okay, from what I understand from the question, I think I mentioned something about MTN skills. Okay, please correct me, the person in the chat box, if that's not what you need, so I can just correct it faster. So, but I think what I mentioned something about MTN skills academy that is free, so they can learn a skill. Do you get? So I feel MTN skills academy is one of the free things I mentioned because I'm an MTN Foundation scholar. So it's actually free to learn a digital skill on it, because I think it's when you start learning those skills, what I believe in, it's when you can now join the groups. If you are in UNN, there's something called Tesla Tech Lab. for skills, that's under technology, those in power electronics and the rest. I'm talking about skills. If it's physical skills, like if you want to join groups of like mind, then when you go forward, I think NIEEE, they have their classes and the rest. Then when you go forward, you can join groups on LinkedIn. They should have. I'm not really the best person to know groups in school, like UNN and the rest, or other universities. But I think they have groups in school that move towards technology. But when you talk about skills, one I'm very sure of is MTS Skills Academy. You can acquire a skill. They work with Coursera and other online skill people that give people online skill administrators. So they work together. It's free. They don't charge anything. So you can start from there to start acquiring your skills. I think certification is good. Then you can watch YouTube videos. So from there you can join Twitter groups of people with like on LinkedIn. You can connect with people. That's just for specific groups in technology. I really don't know, but I would just advise just skills I know specifically of places you can learn skills for free. If obviously your money is not reaching now, but maybe when you move forward and see the need, you can now start advancing. So that's now I've answered the person's question. So thank you.
John Nwegbo is a mechanical engineer currently working as an active SDG advocate with the United Nations Sustainable Development Solutions Network, UNSDSN. He is deeply passionate about leveraging artificial intelligence and data-driven innovation to advance sustainable energy solutions across Africa. He is currently working to further his education in this area. A graduate of the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, UNN, where he emerged as the overall best graduating student, John combines academic excellence with practical expertise in data analytics, sustainable technology, and project management. His work focuses on the intersection of AI, renewable energy, and sustainable development, aiming to bridge the gap between global innovation and local impact. As a thought leader and advocate, John continues to champion the UN Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, particularly those related to affordable clean energy and climate action. He embodies a vision of a smarter, greener, and more inclusive future powered by technology and purpose.
I know that we have all been hearing about skills or money. I've talked about how to use our skills to better ourselves and all of that. But here now, I'm going to try and link all those things I've learned to one thing that everybody wants to do at the end of the end product of learning skills, of building, grooming yourself is to make money. I'm sure that everybody can agree with that. That's the end goal. So I'm going to be speaking on turning your skills into income, your pathways to financial freedom. So I'm going to share my background so that you can get into it. I hope you guys see me. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you. Alright, thank you. I got some Let's now get into it. As I said, I'm going to be speaking on turning skills into income, pathway to financial freedom. Exactly is all this about and why is this important? Why should we start thinking about getting the skills? Because as I said, we're almost talking about skills all through today. We're going to focus on that, get into how we can use those skills to start making money for ourselves. What does it matter? It's that your own is changing. Like employers usually value doing it as much as what you have to offer them. Mr. President, something that so a reiteration of that statement. You have to make sure that your skills are well, you have something there to get you to be in this environment. But what now sets you apart is what you can offer them, the skills you have, various opportunities, and the only way you can start getting your financial field is how can I produce value? Finding out what suits you, what you can offer that gives value that people are looking for, especially on something different. And what are skills? Various kind of skills, in particular field. It can also be academic skills, hard skills also fall under academic skills also fall under hard skills. Related to specific. But if you're interested in AI or data analysis, that's a skill that I have for myself. An academic skill could be written papers, that all those being able to, because one thing I've already said, when you go online, it's like having a portal that to other portals. So you go on there, you find something that relates to what you're interested in. That leads to another thing, another thing. Having that skill to keep going, because it's not something everybody has. So people understand it. This is something to do. Writing, a lot of people that write music, listening, all the that in it, I think is very skills. Now, for soft skills, these ones aren't really material. You can't really how you don't have metrics that way. You don't have metrics or a guide to say, okay, this is how much I have gotten the skill. But as you could be someone that thinks well, I will always do that get better than you. You could never do that. You always say this person is a better leader than I am, but how can you really measure how well that person is as being a leader than you are? You can't really measure it, but you can have a sense of it. Or like technical skills, I say, okay, this person has more certificates. This person has, there are various metrics you can use to say, okay, I'm better at this than this person. But in essence, the fact remains that these skills determine your income potential, determine how much money you can make. How far in you go into gaining these skills determines how much income you're probably going to make from it. Now I'll go to the next thing. Now these are the most in-demand skills as of this year. As of this year, 2025, you have digital and tech skills, data analytical skills, renewable energy and green tech skills, cybersecurity. I mean, name them. Apart from all these technical skills, you also have soft skills. These are very important in this day and age. Communication, leadership, public speaking. You also have business skills like project management in general, content creation. Of course, you know that a lot of people currently, if you're on Twitter, you will know that Elon Musk pays a lot of money to people that do content creation. And you might look so easy, like, come on, it's not just to post something. But there's a lot of work being put into that. And some of them have turned that into a full-time job. Like, they don't even leave their house. They just focus on creating content. And it's a skill that they have used for themselves that is helping them make so much money. Now, this is what I call the skill income roadmap. If you see, there's a car here. I just added this to make it look more like for you to have a picture in your head. That is, even if you didn't learn any other thing, you just remember, okay, this is something I thought of, and this is something I'm taking home today from this session. Now, you have skills. There are skills out there. I hope you can still hear me.
Yes, we can.
Just all right. So there are skills out there, data skills, coding skills. I just put some examples. These are not all of them, of course, but you first need to get those skills, and after getting those skills, have value. The difference between getting skills and having value is getting so far deep in that skill that you are better than the next person that is also getting into that skill. So if you have data skills, your value could be data analysis that like you have gotten so deep, you have apart from Excel or Power BI or Tableau, you are doing even things like Python. You know, you have gotten to a certain level of that skill that you are now better than somebody else. So that when they are looking for someone and they ask you, okay, what can you do for us? You go as far as saying that, and I mean, they start looking at you in a different light. Coding skills, same thing. Academic skills. So, for coding, for a person that's into coding, have you done any apps? You know, they'll ask you that question. Which products have you made? As a UI UX designer, have you come up with any landing page for a big company? Have you done anything? You know, these are things that set you apart, your value. Academic skills, which research have you done? How good is your CGPA? All these are important to set you apart. Now, the opportunities that come with this they are vast. You can get team roles, freelance jobs, many of them. For the academic skills, scholarships are the opportunities you look at in that sense. And of course, when you leverage on these opportunities, that's when you can now start getting income. So that's how you go from being a student to a professional, just like that. Going through this, the road, I made sure the road was not a straight road because it's usually winding. It's not always as easy as it seems. But if you go through all of this and you end up coming out a better version of yourself. That's the skill income roadmap. So I will just go into just looking at some skills that relate to me personally. I can't go through everything since I don't have all the time, but I will just go into some specific skills and their income pathways. And yeah, that's what I'll just do now. First of all, data and tech skills. These are, as I said, they are one of the most in-demand skills at the moment. I personally advise that you get a tech skill or a data skill because in this current dispensation, that is what is really reigning. So you don't want to be left behind. Every industry uses data. I mean, there's no industry that doesn't use it. It's not even possible because what are you doing if you're not making use of data? You have customers. I mean, that's the point of a business. So because of that, you should know that as a data analyst, as a data engineer, as a data scientist, you are going to have job in any company. So why not go so deep into this that you have so many options? It becomes such that you are so grounded in it that if you put in an application into any job, you know that this person has a lot to offer us. The reason why you might have that skill and you might not be getting those job offers because there's someone better than you. There's someone that is doing that thing you are doing much better than you. They have more value to offer. And there you are losing out. So as I said, there is also transforming decision making. I mean, currently you should know about ChatGPT, you should know about what's this other one again? There's this one that's also really raining. Can't remember. Okay, Gemini, yeah. Yeah, you should know about all these AI platforms. And they are currently transforming decision making. But do you know the funny thing? These AIs were built by human beings. That's the truth. And personally, that's something that also interests me. And that's why I'm also into AI because if I can be the one that is building this AI that is currently being used by other human beings, I mean, I'm literally the one that like. Do you understand where I'm coming from? So you're like at the back end, seeing how everything is coming to shape, right? So
Angel is a first-class graduate of Electronic and Computer Engineering from the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, where she was the overall best graduating student in the class of 2024. She has interned with Smart Chain Limited, Halliburton Oil Services, and the Bank of America. A recipient of the PTDF, NHEF, UNN-USA Alumni, and SPE scholarships, she has also excelled as a leader and mentor, serving as Director of Media at the Inter-African Scholar Accelerator, PRO of SPE UNN Chapter, and Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador.
For me, I started with web development. So during COVID, I decided I wanted to learn HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So the first step is to figure out what type of what type of material works for you. So in my case, I started with like documentations and text and websites, and it wasn't very I was learning, but it wasn't. I could tell that I could learn faster or learn better than something else. So then I tried things and they were far more helpful. So the thing is, if you want to learn any skill, I think you need to do a lot of research to find out what exactly you need. So if you need to be a front-end web developer, you need to learn HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and then you move on to frameworks of JavaScript. If you want to work in the ML or AI space, then you need to learn Python and learn how to use its libraries and stuff like that. So I think that preliminary research is very important so that you don't waste your time learning what you don't need. I mean, no knowledge is a waste, but time is of the essence still. So you could save some time by focusing on what you just need to learn. So as I said, I tried text and websites, and that wasn't really helpful. So instead, I tried YouTube courses. Problem with YouTube is there's really no structure, so you're kind of the one defining whether you're ready and whether you need to move to the next stage or if you need to watch an advanced video and stuff like that. But YouTube was enough for me to learn the basics. So after I picked up these basics, I then went ahead to see if there are like any projects I could build, because there's something called tutorial purgatories where you keep watching videos over and over and over again and you don't actually get your hands dirty. So in my case, I did some research, some websites that have like beginner friendly projects that you can work on just to try your hands and see. And at this juncture, I would like to say that if you're learning a skill, it's very important for you to find people that are in the same space or are learning the same thing. Because even if you guys are at the same stage, like you're learning at the same pace, your journeys will be different. So they could face challenges and they could give you advice on how to prevent things like that. So in my case, I had some people, these people in your class. If you can't find anyone in your class, LinkedIn is a wonderful resource. I will keep preaching LinkedIn every day. So reach out to people, see what they're doing differently, what websites what courses they're taking, things like that, and it will just help you. So I had a couple of friends, and I could tell like their progression. Okay, so after I learned JavaScript, what do I learn next? And I did all those projects. And the thing about projects is something you could show people to show like, okay, you know what you're talking about. You've actually done something tangible with the skills you've learned. And what I have is that they have evidence to prove that you actually know what you're saying. So the only disadvantage with learning with like YouTube and videos and very unstructured curriculum is that you don't have anything like a certificate. So that is one thing I took out of my journey. If I could do anything differently, I would take courses that actually provide certificates, because then it's something you can put on your resume to show that, as even though I taught myself, like there's this that proves that I actually learned everything I'm supposed to do. It's like if I walk up to you and I tell you that I'm an electrical engineer and I cannot provide my degree certificate, you're not going to believe me unless you kind of set an exam for me or you tell me to fix anything and then I can, then you start to believe me. But sometimes you might not be able to stay there and prove yourself. To do certificates will help you. So I think if you're trying to start a course, if you're trying to learn a skill like that, I think you should take a course that guarantees a certificate. There's something called WC. There are a lot of courses like that on different things. So it's just a massive online open course. Different universities have this kind of courses, and most times it's free, and the certificate is free, and it also helps you build some kind of credibility. Excuse me, that you did this course with a particular university. So that is one key takeaway. When you're starting, please try to focus on resources that have certificates because they would help. At least you have something to pen down on your LinkedIn or on your resume. So aside from doing projects, let's say you've taken the courses, you believe you have the skills, you're ready, you've done some mini side project here and there. I think you should also work on projects or assignments that have real world applications. So most times when you're learning a basic skill or any programming language, really, there are a few projects that are really common. If it's a website, it's just like a basic plain website, or they'll tell you to work on a calculator. But all of these things are like things that anybody can do. So at this stage, you're trying to set yourself apart. And so it's nice for you to find a problem you want to solve around yourself. It could be a task you have to do every day and you just automate it. Let's say you have to check your email every single day. And so you could just work on an extension that gives you a summary of all the emails you receive every morning when you start working. Let's say that's it. But what I'm just saying is it's nice that your project actually has real world application and other people are using it and they can see it's helpful. So when you build all those small projects to help you, it's also good for you to build a project that has real world applications because most times when you get into interviews and stuff like that, they would always want to know the impact and statistics of your project, like what has this done to actual people aside from yourself. And so that leads me to the next point. If, for instance, you cannot work on any of these projects, I think at this point you need to start looking for volunteer opportunities or proper internships. And for you to do this, you have to meet with other people. So this is the point where networking comes in handy. Those people that were learning with you, they will be like your greatest resource. Or you could try LinkedIn and just search for jobs, internships. At this point, it would be really nice to get something that is paid. But most times as a beginner, it's really difficult. Or you could be lucky and get it. But the main aim now is for you to get an experience down. So that's what you're looking for. So most times, because of how funny our economic situation is, most of these opportunities will be unpaid, or they will just have a very small stipend, and they'll just call it like a data stipend or something. But I would advise you to accept it because then you can have something on your resume that you actually work with the company. And what this kind of opportunities help you to do is also to build your soft skills because there's something that I experience anytime I go for interviews. They always say technical skills are good, but they can always be taught. But if someone doesn't have a particular soft skill like communication or teamwork, there's a really big problem because you can't teach someone teamwork. It's either they have it or they don't. Like you could improve on your teamwork, but it's not something that is easy to work on. So most companies would rather just train you technically and so make sure you're coming with these soft skills. So that's why this kind of opportunities are beneficial to you. So try and work with people on a team. This also relates to like the two projects you do in school with like your group members and things like that. So when you're working on these projects, try to get something good out of it so that you can talk about this as a team building experience or whatever. So those kind of internships are really good. In that case, you get to work with a team, you understand things about deadlines and deliverables and everything, and it's just an entirely new exposure. So that is what I'm going to say. If you're starting to learn a skill from beginning to end, and you just once you've gotten that first internship, it's always easier for you to continue to progress to the next one and just. But I think as much as technical skills are important and you should have technical skills required for the role you're applying to, it's also important to have the soft skills under your belt. Things like time management. Time management will be very important to you as a student because the whole calendar is messed up. So you need to be able to balance learning skill and making sure you're doing well academically. Because I honestly believe that doing well academically is very important for that 5 years you're going to be in school. So I think that should be a priority even when you try to learn a skill. Skills are important. I mean, when after you're done with school, there's always a question of, okay, so what can you do? But I do believe your degree also helps you get a foot in the door, because when they see that, okay, your academics is sound, and then they now move on to the question of, can you do this, this, and this? And those things can also be taught. And I think for any skill you're learning, it's always very important to keep up to date with the trends, because the whole industry is changing very quickly. And as such, any skill you learn, you're always going to have to be relearning, or you're always just going to be learning. Because let's say now you're learning JavaScript, and then a new version comes out, you have to learn the syntax of that new version. So you have to cultivate the spirit of learning, because you will always be learning. Sometimes you would get an internship, and although they said they needed social skills, you would have to learn even more languages and even more skills to excel in that role. And it's just a never-ending cycle of learning every time. So that would be my advice and my encouragement. And honestly, the journey is going to be difficult. There's going to be a lot of rejections along the way, because it's just a part of the process and it's inevitable. But don't lose faith, don't lose heart. You'll be fine at the end of the day, because you're going to excel either way, because in your genes as a UNN student. So that's it for me. Thank you so much for listening.
Simeon Emahana Idave Clinton is a computer science graduate from the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, and co-founder of Myonia, an AI-driven energy startup advancing sustainable power solutions in Africa. A recipient of the NIMASA Essay Prize. UNN USA Scholarship Awardee, Jim Ovia Scholarship, Federal Government Scholarship, and Federal Government Award in IoT and Hardware Skills. He also works as a remote SEO copywriter at Crowd. He runs the Embedded Systems Diary YouTube channel. Clinton is passionate about helping students discover purpose, develop skills, and excel academically.
Abosido Gunica, fondly called Dr. Genius, is an award-winning educator, best graduating student of her department at the University of Ibadan, and founder of the Dr. Genius EDU Act Impact Foundation. She combines academic excellence with practical learning skills, inspiring students and teachers to grow beyond the classroom. Her mission is to help others start where they are, use what they have, and reach for global opportunities.